Hello and welcome to Wingin, and welcome back to another video in which we are going to be taking a look through some starting hand scenarios. Now, I've done a few of these videos in the past. You guys always seem to enjoy them, but it's been a while since the last one, so I thought it was well worth us taking a look at some starting hands so that you can think about what you would pick and then compare it to my own decisions. Now, if you haven't seen those previous videos, I would recommend checking those out, as I do go into a little bit more detail into what I'm looking for in these starting hands and what is driving my decision making. But if you have seen them and you're fully up to speed, we will get into some starting hands. And I recommend that in each case, once the starting hand comes up, pause the video, have a little think about what you would keep, put it down in the comments, and then see what I do and compare our decisions. We're going to run through 3 starting hands here in this video, and then I'm going to go back, pick the one I like the most, play through that first round, and see where we end up. We'll be playing with the base game, plus all expansions in each scenario against one of the AIs. Jumping into our first scenario here, you'll see we are going first, so let's take a look. So if you do want to think about what you want to keep from this starting hand, pause the video now. But I think I know definitely what I want in this starting hand, and that is this yellow hammer. So already seeing that kind of teal power so strong, so I know that is going to be front and center of my strategy here, so definitely going to be picking that. And we've got lots of good brown power, so anytime you're going with these yellow hammer games, get the brown powers and get the brown powers that give you extra resources, you are going to be having a great time. So yeah, something like this Whipbird, this definitely appeals to me. And to be honest, I really like the Meadowlark, getting those extra eggs, of course, really good, really powerful, scoring points. And you've got the right nest type here with the yellow hammer, so that is definitely on my mind. We've even got a good brown power for the wetlands here in the Clark's Creep, so plenty of good options here, as I say, for getting lots of resources. Of course, because we're going first, we can take a look at the tray, knowing that we have some options there to maybe grab some of those birds. And to be honest, not bad options either. I think the nuthatch, I like that for the forest. Likewise, the sapsucker, both again good brown powers, which is what you want in these starting hands, getting those extra resources. Obviously, sapsucker getting the worms, nuthatch getting some seeds, which you can keep as caches, but you can also spend. And certainly, yeah, with something like yellowhammer early on, I think having that option of spending is going to be good, using that food to be playing more birds. So take a look at the bonus cards as well, because sometimes that can come into things. And I think here it absolutely does, because Ecologist is a really, really good bonus card to be going with. Yellowhammer, you want to be playing lots of birds anyway. Obviously, using this teal power is going to let you play extra birds. So the more birds you get down, the more columns you're going to fill, and the more points you score for Ecologist. Should say Falconer is also a really good option, I think. If there were some more Predator powers in this starting hand, that might be a tempter, but yeah, I think Ecologist here, that feels like a really, really good bonus card to keep. But yeah, as I say, lots of strong brown powers here, and lots of good options to work with. But I think definitely this Whipbird is going to be a really nice one to get the start. Obviously, you've got to be a little bit cautious with these kind of cooperative powers where you are giving away resources. That can sometimes come back to bite you, but I think, as I say, with a yellowhammer situation where you are going to be playing extra birds, those extra resources are going to be so helpful. So take a quick look at the feeder. Is that going to change our mind? Probably not massively. It's got a bit of nectar, it's got the food that we need to play the other birds, so I can totally see a good situation here where we keep this worm. Obviously, getting this starting nectar as well in the Oceania starting hands, that gives a bit more flexibility. And yeah, I think what I'd be looking to do here is play the Whipbird, start taking some food, look at getting the yellowhammer down, obviously the grebe, drawing some cards, but we've got some good birds to play here. And that is always what you want with yellowhammer games. So I think we'll lock that in. And this may be one that we come back to later, but we've got 2 more starting hands to work through first. And okay, we come here now into our second starting hand scenario, and you see in this game, we are going second. So we'll see if that is going to make a difference here as we jump into this starting hand. So as before, if you want to pause the video and have a think about what you would keep from this starting hand, then do so now. But I will tell you what I'm going to be keeping, and absolutely Violet Green Swallow first in the hand, and it's going to be my first selection here. So that is a really, really powerful bird. Obviously flexible, can go in any habitat. But I think lots and lots of good options always with these tucking powers. Tuck and draw birds, really, really good. Obviously score a point each time, but cycling cards is one of the most powerful things you can do in Wingspan. So I'll definitely be looking at that. And next to it, Yellowthroat, also really, really good early game bird. Obviously get some extra cards from that wetlands. Absolutely a really, really good option. So I think those two are the immediate looks. Of course, we will take a quick look at the tray as well. Nothing really there that stands out to me. Scale Quail can be useful, I think, sometimes in these Oceania games where you can be a little bit short of eggs, but it's not the kind of bird I'd be jumping out of my way for. So I think I can look more at this hand, and yeah, something like this Stubble Quail I think could be particularly helpful. And I think certainly there's a world here where you could put Violet Green Swallow in the forest, see what you can get there with some tucking and some drawing, but get some extra food, play Stubble Quail, and get a bunch of eggs coming through. So that definitely feels like a nice combo to go with. We'll take a quick look at the bonus cards. Okay, well, that's probably going to be an easy pick. Omnivore is, yeah, one of the best bonus cards in the game. So that's a no-brainer. And yeah, these data analyst ones are so tricky to work with. So I leave those whenever I can. And yeah, certainly having a bonus card like the Omnivore next to it makes things easier. So as I say, I think these three birds are really, really good. But there is a little bit of difficulty in this starting hand in that obviously you're restricted in what you can keep in your starting hand. And I need 3 worms if I want to play both of these birds. So I'm going to have some difficulty there. Probably what I like to do if I've got a Violet Green Swallow, and I think in this situation I would put it in the forest, is just to keep an extra bird so I can look at this Crested Pigeon. I'm almost certainly not going to play that. But what I can do now is, yeah, just keep the single worm. I can obviously use the free nectar I get at the start, play the Violet Green Swallow, take a little bit of food. I can check the feeder. Yeah, plenty healthy there. Lots of nectar, lots of worms, so I can take food. Obviously use the swallow power to tuck and draw. It's important to keep the extra cards so I can do that and get the point. And then of course play the Yellowthroat, and potentially look at taking some more cards there, maybe build out something in this forest. But as I say, I think having this Stubble Quail as a bit of a backup, but also as a bit of a egg bomb early on can be useful. I think a lot of the time players look at these kind of birds and think of them as just late game birds. You play them at the end, score big points, use up spare food. But I think this is the kind of bird that can be really, really powerful early in the game, as I say, especially in these Oceania situations where eggs can be really, really difficult to get hold of. So I think this feels like quite a nice starting hand. As I say, Omnivore, not got anything for it in this starting hand, but it is such a powerful bonus card. So I'd certainly look to find some birds there. And yeah, I think we lock that in. As I said, that felt like a little bit of nuance in that starting hand, but definitely something like this Violet Green Swallow is going to be really, really strong. So we may well come back to this one as well. But for now, we've got our third and final starting hand to jump into. And let's jump into it right now. So we are going second once again here. We will jump into this starting hand and take a look at what we've got. So as before, if you want to pause the video now, have a think about what you'd keep from this starting hand. This feels again like a pretty nice starting hand. Some good options, and one certainly jumps out above the others, and that is this White Stork. So really, really strong bird this. Obviously big points, but really good brown power. Resetting the tray and being able to draw one of the face-up birds that you reveal. So that is super, super strong. I've got to say, though, not really too many other good options here, I think. Maybe something like this Carolina Wren can be good. Get that down in the forest. Obviously, again, get some more cards, which can be useful. And maybe that egg space could be useful because it's always a dilemma, I think, with White Stork. Where do you put it? Do you put it in the grasslands? Do you put it in the wetlands on Oceania boards? I think it's not such an obvious answer. Obviously, if you're playing base boards, I think White Stork goes in the grasslands and you lay eggs and you have a great time. But there are certainly scenarios where actually just playing this in the wetlands, using it to draw some cards early on, that could be really, really useful. So we'll take a look, as always, at what we've got in the tray. And we, to be fair, have got some quite good options. So Junco works quite well, I think, in the grasslands, just get a bit of food going. Likewise, Silvereye, but obviously, yeah, the co-op power maybe a little bit scary, but I gotta be honest, black woodpecker, that is quite appealing. I think with the white stork in the grasslands, you could play that in the forest. I mean, this is where we definitely want to look at the feeder, and there are a few worms there, so that could work out quite well. And it's certainly not a bird you see picked up, I would say, too often. This is something you've got to think about when you're going second, is will my opponent pick up the bird that I want? And I would say in a lot of scenarios here, black woodpecker's not going to get picked up, and you can feel pretty safe going for that. So yeah, again, with the starting nectar, that's really going to come in handy here with the duplicated worms. Could definitely be feeding that, getting that down in the forest, and then yeah, just keep some other food. Obviously the fish, if we're going for the white stork, we want that. I may actually look at something else here as potentially another bird. Even just something like this woodcock as a nice big pointer. Could be a tempting one. We'll see if it's going to make a difference to the bonus card. Got to say, anatomist obviously doesn't come up in the online games, so not really what I'm used to being able to pick from, but I probably would pick that if given the choice. But yeah, Prairie Manager, I feel like that can work out pretty well in a lot of games as well, so we'll keep that. And yeah, as I say, always tempting, I think, in these situations where you're just keeping one bird and you know you're going to get some food access, or you hope you are anyway. It can be tempting to keep an extra bird, but I think, yeah, in the interests of tempo and getting things set up, I think keeping the extra food here would be good. So as I say, turn one, we look to pick up that black woodpecker, get it down in the forest, grab some food, and then get the white stork down. And yeah, I think in this scenario, I'd be putting it in the grass and see what we can get. Hopefully, you know, if we've got the egg space on the woodpecker, can legs a couple of times, see what is going to come up, and then go from there. So this again feels like potentially quite a strong start. You'll see here the AI not picking black woodpecker, which definitely makes things interesting here. Will we come back to this, or will we come back to one of the other starting hands? We will see. And so there we go. Those are our 3 starting hand scenarios. Hopefully you found those useful to work with. Did you keep the same things as me, or were you going to make different decisions? Let me know down in the comments as always. But as I said at the start, we are going to go back and pick one of these 3 starting hand scenarios. And for me, I think it's got to be starting hand number 1 with that yellowhammer. So tempting and so strong. I think lots and lots of good brown powers that work especially well with that. So let's dive in and let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can get set up in this round 1 and see how this game plays out. So as I said, Eastern Whitbird, we are going to get that down. I think that's just such a good opening bird here. It's so important. Getting that first forest bird down, of course, letting you get the extra food, not just from the bird feeder, but then using a brown power like the Whitbird, really, really strong as well. So I think we'll go and take food. Obviously, anytime there's nectar there, you definitely want to be going and grabbing that. And we're probably going to take food a few times here, I think. Obviously, if we're using the yellowhammer, we're going to be playing more birds. We're going to need more food for that. So that is obviously going to be important for us. But I think what we'll do is we'll take the fish, given that Clark's Grebe are going to want to play that. Absolutely a no-brainer. And maybe try and keep the nectar, because I think sometimes having that bit of flexibility can be really, really nice. So opponent drawing cards, maybe revealing Black Noddy, which we may well look at, but as with the Whitbird, we've got to get our wetland bird down first, letting us draw more cards, see more cards. That is going to be good, and we're going to sort of hold off on this yellowhammer. It is absolutely going to go down, but I want to be playing these brown powers. I want to be using these brown powers, getting the extra resources first, giving myself more time to make the decision on what I am going to use this yellowhammer to play. So as I say, lots of good options. I think Black Noddy is definitely appealing if we're going to be getting some extra food, being able to get that down. Big point bird with a really strong brown power. Absolutely tempting. But again, we've got some really, really nice brown powers here with the sapsucker, with the nuthatch. But given we've got this Clark's Grebe, obviously being able to draw one, discard one, we've got a bit of flexibility here. So I'm going to start by going off the top of the deck. See what we get. It's a barred out. I'm not especially interested in that. But what that does mean is that now I'll take this Noddy. And then, as I say, have some choices here. Which one do I want? I think of these 2, I probably lean towards the sapsucker. I think the nuthatch could be tempting, but I'm already getting some seeds through from this whipbird. A little bit of diversity would be nice. So sapsucker, we're going to keep you, and yeah, get rid of the barred owl there. Not quite so interesting. So yeah, 4 turns left. This is always where you want to start thinking about what you want to be doing with your turn. So I know I've got to spend 1 turn playing the yellow hammer. Obviously, if I want to use the bird, it's got to be down. And I've still got to lay eggs, so I can see along this left-hand side. I've done all the actions except laying eggs, so 2 of my remaining 4 turns will be playing the yellow hammer and laying eggs. I'm definitely going to need to take some food if I want to be playing some more birds. So that's going to be another turn, and that actually gives me an extra free turn, and I may well be tempted into spending that drawing cards because we've got some more good ones that have come up. So this American red start, yeah, again, more food. To be honest, I probably prefer that over the sapsucker. For the same food cost, it's a much stronger power. So that is definitely appealing. And yeah, could definitely look at getting that down this round using the yellow hammer power. And I think always if you can get down to strong food gaining brown powers early on in these yellow hammer games, it just makes everything else so much easier because you can afford to play more birds later on. So I think as before, because we've got this flexibility with the grebe, we can go off the top. I'm not too interested in the Oriole, but yeah, red start definitely will go for. And I think we'll go off the top again. Northern Gannet's not great. That may well go down later. But as I think probably in a 2-play game, this kind of pink power, not exactly what we are after. So we can, yeah, safely discard that. And we've got 3 turns left. Now, obviously, we're going to need to take food. We're going to grab this nectar because nectar is amazing. We want to grab it wherever we can. And then obviously use the whipbird power. Very, very nice. And yeah, 2 turns left. This is where Yellowhammer goes into the game. So I think what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be using the Yellowhammer to play the red star. Obviously, I'm going to want 2 nectar for that. So I'll keep those. I'll spend a nectar and a seed on playing this Yellowhammer. And then when it comes through here to our last turn of the round, making sure we're laying eggs. Doesn't matter too much where they go. But now we've done everything we need to use this Yellowhammer. We're going to use that right now. Get this red start down. And as I say, this is just going to make things so much easier going into the next round because we got some nice birds we want to play. Certainly that black noddy is up there, and we're even winning this first end around goal as a bit of a bonus. So Yellowhammer absolutely helping out there. And what do you know, we've got Yellowhammer's best friend in the trade waiting for us. But yeah, this is certainly a really good foundation, I think. As I say, in the forest, excellent food access. I could look at playing big point bird like the noddy and nice egg laying brown power with the meadowlark. That is going to be key because that's going to save us turns as this game goes on. And yeah, with the whitetail popping up as well, makes things definitely interesting. So this feels like a really, really good foundation and what could make for a really, really good game. So there we have it. Those were 3 different starting hand scenarios that hopefully you were able to work through, pick up some tips and learn a few things along the way. If you'd like to learn more and improve at Wingspan, do make sure you're subscribed, following along. Got plenty more strategy videos and gameplay content incoming. And if you want to show even more support, there are channel membership options available, including a Goldfinch tier, which gets you early access to all of my videos, and a Bunting tier, which gets you one-on-one sessions playing and learning Wingspan with me. So check those out, and I look forward to seeing you in another video very, very soon.